Hey everyone, welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It's Monday. It's September 4th. It is 2023. We have a 7-game day baseball slate to talk about here on today's podcast, Labor Day baseball slate, and joined today by my good buddy, rocking the Hattie Bees hat. Hey, I need some Hattie Bees mojo over here. This race, Will has been in the green room talking with me for the last couple minutes as I've just been tilting. But yeah, I need some of that mojo to bring that mojo over here to finish out this NASCAR race for me.
Yeah, let's hope so. I need it as well. You know, the wedding's coming up really soon, so I need my hands on as many dollars as possible. So I figured, hey, let's kick this thing off today, right out of the gate, coming in. Hattie B strong, good hot chicken, and always good mojo when Hattie B's is on the menu. So hopefully this race finishes in your favor. May the favor ever be with you. May it fall in your favor, and hopefully we break this slate down well, and a few other dollars fall in other people's pockets, including ours.
Let's have some fun with it. Like I said, we got some day baseball, 7-game slate. Really interesting slate. I was looking at it as I was watching the race. I don't know how much I'm going to get to play this slate. Just being fully transparent, I'm playing in a disc golf tournament that the final round is on Monday. Played Saturday and Sunday, and our final round is on Monday. Southeastern Amateur Championship, big tournament for this area. So hey, it's been a fun weekend. I started terrible here on Sunday morning. I was like 3 over through 7 holes and finished the day 2 under. So bounced back. But yeah, let's talk baseball, man. Let's have some fun. Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. Let's have some fun here on Monday. Kansas City and Chicago White Sox. They are in Kansas City. It's our boy Schoflin's doing something here for the White Sox, and then dude Cole Reagan's pitching on today's slate. Finally over 7K, but not by much. Any interest here in Schoflin's on Chicago?
No, actually, I don't think I need him today. I'm probably going to try to get in on some unders on him if everything comes out the way I want it to. So not playing Schultz's today.
Yeah, no interest for me either. 9 total. Royals a 140 favorite here. Probably should be more, man. Cole Reagan's has been absolutely legit. He's changed up his pitch mix, and it's working for him. We've talked about it in depth. I talked about it in depth many, many times on the podcast. I mean, I'm a full believer at this point, and he's too cheap. So I think he's the best point per dollar pitcher on the slate, and it's the first game we talk about.
Yeah, how much Reagan's is too much? Cole Reagan's probably 100%, and that may actually even not be enough, Stevie. I'm saying that because he has been really good, and so first of all, he was like 6K the last start, I think it was, which was just atrocious, right? If I'm not mistaken, he was 6K. And so he keeps putting together really good starts. He's 7,200 today with, Stevie, he's got 30-point upside. Like he's been close to 40 in one of these starts against Oakland. He's just too cheap. He's probably the best player on the slate for the dollar amount, as you said. And I'm just repeating what you said in a different way. But bottom line, Cole Reagan's definitely one of the top pitchers on the slate, especially if he continues to pitch the way he has down the stretch here.
Yeah, very interested in him. What's up, YouTube? I see you all talking over there in YouTube chat. Hope everyone's having a good Sunday night here. Let's talk bats. Robert's banged up right now. He got scratched on Sunday, didn't play. If he's out of the lineup, it's a bump to Reagan's, and it makes me like the White Sox even less. Honestly, I just don't have a ton of interest in the White Sox bats in this spot.
Yep. I will not be investing in any White Sox, even on a 7-game slate. And usually on a 7-game slate, Stevie, I will hunt for a home run, maybe from a team or two that I'm just not on, but I'm not interested in this team at all.
Any worry about Cole Reagan's pitch count over the last couple games? No, I mean they're kind of letting him do his thing. So until we have a reason to worry about his pitch count, or if there's an alert or not an alert, an announcement is what I kind of meant.
Yeah,
Any interest here in the Kansas City bets?
I do. I have some slight interest in these bets. I mean, I'm not saying Schultz is he's not great, right? And so, I mean, he's given up enough hits, Stevie. Kansas City, while this offense may be a little bit rough, they still have a couple guys that can take them to the streets. Bobby Witt and the crew, they're still, I think there's enough here to give him some problems. And so clearly you'd be building around Bobby Witt and Salvador Perez. And these other bets, I think, are just too cheap for a stack in case they go off against a middle of the road, average to below average pitcher.
Yeah, low strikeout guy. He's really struggled with like right-handed power. So I mean, your Bobby Witt call I think is kind of right on the money here. Kind of just want to see who cracks the lineup. If Vasquez, he's been cheap. If he cracks the lineup here, he's 3K. Righty power on power. I have some interest in that. So yeah, I mean, this is just one of these spots where I think this is a great spot. And I mean, definitely interested in Kansas City. We'll obviously have to check what Weather Edge has for like a day game in Kansas City, but I feel like we're going to have pretty decent hitting conditions on this slate. So see how it kind of plays out here. Moving on. Well, we got San Francisco at Chicago Cubs, 9 total, which tells me maybe we got a little bit of wind. I'll have to check that here. I'll check that real quick. But we got Logan Webb and Justin Steele with a 9 total. That only tells me, one thing. We're going to have a little bit of wind in Wrigley. It looks like 13 miles an hour blowing out here night before as far as Wrigley. So
it's crazy how enough. You know that stuff because it should have been 7.5 easy with both of these pitchers. Easy.
Yeah. Easy 7.5 line with these two guys on the hill. So couldn't agree more. Now, like kind of looking at this spot, any interest in Logan Webb with a potential windy Wrigley game?
Well, so is he a better play than Cole Reagan's today? Probably not. Hear me out, Steve. Is he a better play than than Merrill Kelly today? Probably not. Is he a better play than Jose Barrios? Maybe, but probably not. Like, I'm saying that to say guys still have to hit the ball in a win game.
Yeah.
But if you're asking me, is he better than those guys that I named? I would have to say no. I think I'd see where ownership comes out at, and then I kind of make some adjustments from there. As it stands right now, really good pitcher this season. I think he's going to be fine, but I don't have to risk it today with some of these other options that we have.
My thing here, just in general, for Webb is he is not walking guys. He's throwing a lot of strikes. He's generating a lot of ground balls. I mean, ground balls don't hurt you in a windy Wrigley game.
Yeah.
The problem is his strikeouts have just dipped so much. Like on the season, he's around 23.5%. Over the last month, he's around 18.5%. Like
that's why he's 23 on the season. Like it really has been dipping.
Yeah. So I mean, overall, I probably don't get the Webb here unless like we open this slate up and just see like really low ownership on Logan Webb. And then at that point, I think, that's where I would be interested in taking some shots on Webb. Steele on the other side of this game, dude, I love lefties against the Giants. My concern is like the wind, obviously getting the Giants outside of, their home ballpark is obviously somewhat concerning. Justin Steele's strikeouts have been fine. He'll struggle with walks from time to time, but man, he's gonna generate a lot of ground balls too. I mean, this is a guy that generates ground balls and strikes hitters out. Like, do we have interest in Steele at 10K in a potential windy Wrigley game?
So Steele is where I'm probably going to get some shares, and it's because the strikeout stuff has been there, right? So in my mind, Stevie, if Steele gives up 2 but gets 8 or 9 strikeouts, like I'm feeling fine. So that's kind of where I am. He's probably the largest spend I will have on this slate. And I'm not saying, and once again, let me say this. I don't think Steele is a better play than Merrill Kelly today for the money. But if I've got to choose between two, it is a smaller slate. Like, you'll see some of these pitchers at the bottom that we're just not going to play at all. So I'm probably Stevie on this slate. I'm probably close to just locking in Cole Reagans and rotating around him. And I think Steele ends up being one of those guys because the strikeout stuff is still intact.
Yeah, really weird. Wrigley win games, we're usually super pumped to have exposure to these guys hitting wise, and just looking at the spot for San Francisco. I mean, Flores at 3,700.
Yep.
Hate the fact that you got to play him at first base. JD Davis is 3,300. Bailey is 3,100. I could see myself maybe mini stacking against Steele, but Steele's a good pitcher. Like I said, he generates ground balls. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and those names that you talked about are the ones I would have mentioned. Like, maybe you hunt a little bit with Flores, hunt a little bit with JD Davis. Maybe one of these guys, takes him out of the park. But I still don't think this offense is going to match Steele down today. I still think the strikeouts are going to be there. So I think I'd be one off in some of these guys, but I'm not stacking San Francisco by any stretch.
All right. Cubs, Chicago Cubs. I don't know why I had Kansas City so click, but Chicago Cubs bats. I mean, Bellinger has been phenomenal recently.
Yep.
Just absolutely crushing the baseball. He's 6,300 now. Tough matchup against Webb, but like I said, Webb hasn't been as dominant recently. Like, do we have interest in some of these Cubs bats here?
As crazy as it sounds, if I was going to stack one side of this game, it's probably the Cubs. I just feel like, and so the other thing with the Cubs, Steve, is we don't have all these weird things to worry about. These guys are going to play. Like, Belginger's going to be in the game. Tucker's going to be in the game. Happ should be in the game. Suzuki should be in the game if he's there. We know Candelario's going to play. Like, we don't have to worry about too many switcheroos. And so if I'm going to stack one side of this game, it's definitely the Cubs. And I think I just stack it because of the situation and just I'd be hoping that Webb doesn't have his best day, considering I'm probably not going to be playing much Webb.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't mind the Cubs stack here. I think they might actually get a little overlooked in this spot more just because, because it's Logan Webb.
Yeah.
All right, Houston at Texas. Yes, it bothers me every time I have to say that. I know. But it is Astros Rangers. It's a pick'em game. It's a 9.5 total. It's France and Heaney. Straight pick'em, 108 both sides. Any interest here in JP France?
No.
Yeah, easy, quick, no. Love it. No interest for me. 5 home runs over his last 3 starts. Really kind of been struggling. Got absolutely shellacked by the Red Sox a couple starts ago. Andrew Heaney on the other side of this game. He has strikeout ability, he has strikeout upside, but overall, man, I don't think I want to pay $7K for Heaney in this tough matchup against Houston.
Yeah, we're not playing Heaney today I haven't been playing anyone against Houston for like a month and a half, and it's worked out great. Like, just there's no need to be doing this against this team right now. No need.
Bats. Let's talk bats. I mean, bats I think are very playable here.
Yeah.
Let's talk Houston bats. What are your thoughts on the Astros?
I love both sides of this game, Stevie, and I especially love Houston getting a guy that can be really erratic in Andrew Heaney. I mean, in the top of this lineup, he should have some struggles, right? Like, even the lefties, like Cal Tucker's not striking out. Michael Brantley's not striking. When I say not striking out, I'm saying they're not striking out a ton. Altuve's not striking out a bunch. Bregman's not striking out a bunch. This should be a tough spot for Andrew Heaney, and I think the runs are going to come here. So I'm stacking Houston any way that I can. And don't look now, man. Michael Brantley is back. He's hitting like he's not coming back being unproductive. See, he hit a home run the other day. Michael Brantley, folks, hit a home run. I had somebody reach out to me on Twitter and said, Chief, I played Michael Brantley because I thought about you. Thank you. You're very welcome to one of the best hitters in baseball. I kid. Michael Brantley is like a favorite DFS player of mine, but he's still 3,900, and he's not gonna. Andrew Heaney's not putting too many balls by him. So I love this team, man. This team they're ready to roll now.
Chas McCormick, I say it all the time, but
That's
this
your
guy absolutely phenomenal against left-handed pitching this season. Like this spot for him. Texas bats. Obviously, I have a ton of interest in Seager. His upside at shortstop just continues to be incredible. Outside of that, though, I mean, like, I hate paying $6K for Marcus Semien, but I mean, he is super solid. Garcia would be my preferred spend up there, and then like pairing these guys with Lowe, and then trying to find some value with these Texas cheap bats is how I would approach like its stack here. But I mean, JP France is definitely someone I don't mind picking on here.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to stack up both sides of this game. Thank God Cole Reagans is on this slate today, or I'd be having some trouble. I'd be having some struggle. I've been a struggle bus, but I like both sides of this game, Steven. I'm with you on the Seager call. I mean, even at 6,600, like it just, he continues to rank him, Acuna, Betts, some of these guys, man, just every day, just scoring fantasy points. And so I'm all in on both sides of this game. Like this is probably one of my favorite spots of the day, period. Both sides.
We had a chat question: Altuve or Semien? I prefer Altuve.
Yeah, I absolutely go Altuve over Semien in this spot. But in tournaments, I'm playing them both for what it's worth. I'm saying either or.
All right, Toronto at Oakland. 8.5 total here. Blue Jays, 200 favorite. We got Waldichuk against Berrios. We'll start with Jose Berrios, 8,800. Guy has been struggling recently. And like it's been a couple tough spots, like Washington, low strikeout team, in Baltimore, in Cincinnati. Like he's had some tough spots, right?
Cincinnati strikeouts were there, which we should have.
Yeah, the strikeouts were there. Yep. Now he gets Oakland. In Oakland, I mean, 8,800 for Berrios. Like I definitely think he's on the list today at pitcher.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely on the list. I can't pass up that price at Oakland. He should have probably been this price or lower against some of these other teams, but he'd been pitching so well, Stevie. And he was 8,800 against Washington, 8,200 against Baltimore. But he's in play today, like no doubt about it. Against Oakland, he's at Oakland too, which should be a little bit better for him for pitching. I know it's going to be earlier in the day, but he should be able to pitch really well in this spot.
Any interest in Waldichuk?
No.
Yeah, I mean, just not a great high strikeout guy. So not a ton of interest. And like, there's so many good right-handed hitters in this lineup. I know, like, their numbers haven't been great against left-handed pitching this season, but yeah, I mean, I think this is a spot we definitely have to have some interest in. Springer, Vlad, Schneider, Whit Merrifield. Clement is cheap. He's been hitting. He doesn't have a ton of power, but I mean, he's someone that can definitely get some hits here. Yeah, Will, talk to me. What do you like here for Toronto?
Yeah, that's kind of the thing with Toronto. They've been such a letdown over half of the season that you don't even realize Vlad is 5K and everybody else is under 5K. Like,
all right, we lost him. His internet is just not. Oh, back. All right. His internet's not doing him any favors tonight.
No, but I will tell the people I am on my mobile hotspot because the internet's been so wonky. So my mobile hotspot's been much better than what it would have been. Trust me. But yeah, like I was saying, Vlad's the only one over at 5K. Springer's 46, Merrifield's 44. Varsho's 34. Like they just, because they've been slightly unproductive, they're cheap or cheaper. So I really like this team. I think.
Oh, he really likes this team. I think that's what we got there from Chief. I'm with him though. I have a ton of interest in Toronto. I wish this game was in a different ballpark. I wish this game was actually in Toronto, but I mean, I like picking on Waldichuk. I think that any of these right-handed power bats are very much in play today. As far as Oakland bats go, I mean, Berrios has been struggling. He should get some decent ownership today. I think if you wanted to get contrarian and go an Oakland stack, I don't even know if you necessarily need like a full Oakland stack, but I think if you wanted to get contrarian and play some Oakland bats against a popular Berrios. And again, I think Berrios is cheap. I think he's solid. But I think like Oakland is a team you can definitely look at on a smaller 7-game slate to be contrarian. He's back. He's rocking the bees hat. Will, any thoughts here on Oakland?
I did not get caught with it.
Oh, he didn't get caught with his mic off, but his internet's just this is like he's trying.
I'm here.
Oh man, this internet's just not friendly to you tonight.
Not today. Coming off of a storm too, so I don't know. Spectrum's been very frustrating. So, like I said, I'm on my mobile hotspot because Spectrum's been so bad. But yeah, I don't trust Oakland, man. I think they had a good day the previous slate, but I think Berrios is the better play in this spot. I'm going to fade Oakland and trust Berrios to get the job done.
All right, let's move on. We got Boston at Tampa. I was very sad that I could have easily went to this game and had disc golf tournament, but we got Bayo and Savali facing off against each other. This game has an 8 total. The Rays a 140 favorite. Any interest in Bayo here?
I don't think so, Stevie. In my mind, he could have been okay, but I just don't think he has enough strikeout stuff. Like Cole Reagans is just going to eliminate everybody in this range today for good reason. So I don't think I'm playing Bayo today.
Yeah, my problem with Bayo is like his strikeout stuff has just dipped big time. Like he really hasn't had like big strikeout upside. And he does a good job generating ground balls. Good pitcher's ballpark, huge upgrade for him ballpark wise. But he just really hasn't. He just hasn't got the job done upside wise. So I'm with you. I don't think I'll fire shots at Bayo. Aaron Savali is just a little too pricey for me today, like 9,700. I don't think he's necessarily a bad pitcher, but Red Sox a low strikeout team. Just seems like a bad spot to pay this price tag on Savali today.
Yep, absolute fade for me as well.
I don't even necessarily love the bats here either, right? Like looking at the Boston bats, I mean, yeah, sure. Like maybe taking some shots on Devers or like Adam Duvall has been scorching. Maybe taking some shots on these guys, but like not my favorite team to look at today.
Better hitters, if you will. So probably a little bit of Yoshida, little bit of Devers. So kind of like when I was talking about the first game, which was the White Sox in Kansas City, we're on a small slate. I will look at every team and see if we have some guys that we can just play around stacks or one off around the stack or something. So Devers is one of those guys. Duvall is one of those guys. Yoshida is one of those guys. I'm not going to stack Boston, but I do think one offs are in order in this spot for sure.
Any interest in the Tampa bats against Bayo?
And folks, I don't know if I'm gone or if Stevie's gone. So perhaps his internet gave him.
I was letting Will go there. But yeah, his internet's not been friendly. But as far as the Tampa bats for me, looking at Bayo like on the season, he's been solid. But if we look recently, his strikeouts have just dipped so bad. He's really struggled with left-handed hitters in this lineup. Just in general, left-handed hitters in general, not even just in this lineup. So looking at this lineup, I think like Lowe and Lau, both very interesting. Luke Rowley would be interesting. I don't think this is like a full-on stack spot for me as far as Tampa goes, but like I think like looking at left-handed power is very much in play for Tampa in this spot. Seattle at Cincinnati. No total in this game. It looks like it's going to be like an opener situation for Cincinnati with a long reliever. I mean, yeah, it's like it's going to be like this, opener situation. I don't think we're touching the pitching for Cincy. And then Brian Wu pitching for Seattle today, coming off a really good start against Oakland. Fantastic start there. So, yeah, I mean, 8K for Brian Wu, I think is interesting. Cincinnati does have some strikeouts. It's a huge ballpark downgrade for Brian Wu. Will, what are your thoughts here on Wu?
My thoughts are he can't be any worse than my internet. I do feel like he's a guy that early this season, crushing righties, struggling against lefties. We saw what he was able to do against Oakland, but the strikeout stuff still wasn't there, Stevie. Like, we haven't seen like a true upside game since the White Sox in June, where he had 9 strikeouts. Do I think he could come out and get some strikeouts against Cincinnati? Yes, because they are a fairly high strikeout team currently. But he is going to still struggle with the lefties. And so at 8K, the Cole Reagans effect goes into play yet again. He's probably a boom or bust play. I think in mass multi-entry, you roll the dice. But I wouldn't play him in any single entry or a 3-entry max.
Cincinnati, we're not touching this opener situation for them. I will say, like, Votto on the IL recently, McLean on the IL, India on the IL. It's all kind of a bump for Brian Wu. It's just a bad ballpark. Seattle bats, I mean, it's an opener situation. I think it's a stack spot if you're playing Seattle. I do think they're very playable today. Huge ballpark upgrade for Seattle, going from Seattle to Cincinnati, the Great American Small Park. What are your thoughts here on the Seattle bats?
Yeah, definitely like Seattle. I know you talked about, staying away from the opener situation. These guys, man, so much power in this lineup, a lot of strikeouts, but just tons of power. And so I'm in. I don't mind playing a little JP Crawford leading off, who doesn't have as much power, but it's definitely a good setup, man, for Suarez, for Julio, for Ty France, for Cal Raleigh. I think this team, and really nobody's over 5K yet again outside of Julio Rodriguez. This is a really good spot for this team in a good ballpark. I think we fire away.
I don't really have anything else to add. What are your thoughts on the Cincinnati bats?
I think if you're stacking Cincinnati, you're just expecting Brian Wu to just get blown up today. But there's just been so many strikeouts down the stretch. I'm willing to stack this team, but kind of measure it by ownership. This team could still break a slate, but they've been striking out so much. I think if we expect Wu to struggle some, we put a few stacks in with this team because of the ballpark factor.
All right, Will, we finish it out. Colorado at Arizona. Lambert and Kelly facing off against each other in this game. 9 total. Diamondbacks a 240 favorite. Let's talk Lambert first. Any interest here in Peter Lambert?
No.
Yeah, easy pass for me. Merrill Kelly, the guy that I'm likely going to use the most with Reagans today. Like, Colorado is just awful. Very interested in Merrill Kelly today.
Yeah, absolutely. This is in my opinion, in terms of the upper tier in pitching, over 9K, this is the guy. You don't have to overthink it. And yeah, he's going to be chalky, and Reagans is going to be chalky. But Stevie, for good reason, you might just have to eat the chalky and differentiate other spots. Like, these two guys essentially should have the best starts on the day if everything lines
up. Bats, anything for the Rockies today?
Negative.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any interest in the Rockies. And as far as Arizona goes, let's see who's back in the lineup. Pham got scratched. dealing with like a pinky finger injury or something like that. And then Walker's dealing with an elbow injury. So we'll see who's back in there. But I do have interest in Arizona depending on like who cracks the lineup today.
Yeah, absolutely. Still good pieces here. Marte's still there. My boy Perdomo at the bottom. I know he hasn't been as good down the stretch as he has early this season, but I still like him in this spot. Carroll's still rolling. They still got guys that can hit. Moreno at catcher at 2,700 is definitely a cheap option. So I like this team. I think it's a good spot for them at home.
All right, morning grind game. Kind of cruise through this one. I'm trying not to tilt the NASCAR race. Good for Kyle Larson, by the way. Finally getting his Cup Series win at Darlington. He's been the best car here like so many times. So congratulations to Larson. He was a core play for me. Had a ton of him. Good day, Will. Made money. Not complaining. Was really close to being a great day, which would have been fantastic. But hey, can't win them all. Let's play the morning grind game. Yeah. Under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts. Who do you got today?
Cole Reagans, man.
I was like, is he gonna lay this up for me or something? Like you like debated for a second. Like this isn't even close. There's one option. Seeing that I'm the host and I can change the rules. I'm gonna go Brian Wu because he's exactly 8K, and that's what I do. Over 8K to score under 15. Who's your bust today?
I gotta go with Savali.
Yeah, I like that bust too. I'm gonna go Logan Webb. I think this is a tough spot for him today. Over 4K to hit a home run. Who do you got going yard today?
Give me Bobby Witt Jr.
Ooh, I like that one. I do. A lot of great options, but I got to go to my boy, man. Give me Chas McCormick against Heaney.
Yep.
Under 4K to get 2 hits. Who's a cheap bet that you like today?
I am not going with my good friend Michael Brantley, even though I should. I'm going to go with Lourdes Gurriel.
All right. I don't mind that. I'm going to go Luke Rowley against Brian Bayo in Tampa today. I don't know if he's had a multi-hit game recently, but I think this is a good spot for him. Stack to score 6 or more runs. Who's getting the job done today?
Give me Houston. Love Houston today. One of my top teams.
Yeah, definitely like Houston. I think that's a good call. I'm going to kind of double down here. I'm going to go Chicago Cubs. Get the job done today. So we cruise through it. Hey, do you know what this week is? This week is NFL Week 1. A lot of awesome content coming this week for football. I know Will's got a busy schedule.
Ooh, buddy.
It's a busy week. So yeah, last Sunday night that we're going to be recording without a football game going. So you get the next Sunday night, you'll get to watch us live tilt some showdown and some fantasy pick'em
we'll have
stuff.
some in.
Oh yeah. Gotta have those fantasy pick'em games going on Sunday Night Football. So hope everyone has a fantastic Monday. We'll be back tomorrow talking more baseball. Good luck, everyone. We'll see you then.